Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Bricks King podcast, where I'm going to bend your ear about Lego, review those amazing bricks of plastic, and discuss what is new and up and coming around the Lego world. I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's build on it. Welcome in, everybody. How are we doing today? Hopefully you're doing lovely. Today, we are talking all things lovely, amazing, terrific. Speed champions. Those of you that here in the United States hopefully had an opportunity to have a great 4th of July, great celebration of 248 years in this country. Anyway, speed champions. We've got 3 different sets to talk about today. And one that's kind of almost like a rehash of something we've seen before. Maybe even 2 that are kind of a rehash. But we're definitely getting some new models that, to add to any kind of car collection, especially speed champions. These are mega huge. These are always great models. They always turn out super well. Now, sometimes, some folks will say, oh, well, they don't quite look like it. You only have so many different pieces, and you only have so many different ways to really try and accomplish that. However, this is a nice addition to what we already have. And I mean, we're getting one of the weirdest looking cars I have ever seen. It's slick looking. It is just, it's a little too rich for my taste and we'll talk about that here in a second. So let's go ahead and jump in. The very first one is the Lamborghini Lambo V12 Vision Gran Turismo. 76932 is the set number. Retails for $27, 27 euros. And you can get it today. It has 230 pieces. I believe these released July 1st. They've been sitting built for a little bit. Anywho, very futuristic. This bad boy retails just about $4 million if you wanted one. That's absolutely insane. That is just stupid money. That is just stupid money. Like, I can't even fathom $4 million in the purchase of a car. Just wild. Anyway, very futuristic. Looks like something that should have, been in some futuristic movie. I don't know what, Ready Player One, maybe. That wasn't even futuristic. That was, a video game world. I don't know. When I talked with Marin about, the cars and stuff like that, and he had mentioned, that some people were kind of like, well, these, some of these models weren't the most difficult. Some of them weren't the most advanced. The techniques weren't wild, crazy, over the top or anything like that. You're definitely getting something way above and over the top here. That is the least that I can say about this. It's just wild. The details alone, it's just absolutely incredible. To be able to get these curves, these focal points, it's just absolutely wild. So one of the things I found interesting, the wheels. On the inside of the wheels, these are printed. They're just tiles, obviously, that go on the outside, but those are printed to get that futuristic look of the wheel assembly there. Really, really kind of cool. But this is it's an olive green overall car. The paint color for the car, in compared to what this color Lego has, it's similar. It's not hitting it. It's really not hitting it. It's kind of like an iridescent color to a certain degree. There's just something about the actual paint on the Lamborghini that you're just kind of missing here. And I don't think there's anything that they could have done different. Now, obviously, we do get stickers here, but you don't actually get as many stickers on this car as you think you would. You would think that you would get a lot more, but there's not near as many stickers as we've seen with some of the other cars. Obviously, with cars that have branding and sponsors and all that kind of stuff, you are going to always have way, 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 way more stickers than what you have here. But we do get some prints as well, but nothing, that you're like, oh, I'm blown away by this, other than, the wheels. That's pretty nice. So starting in the front, this is kind of fascinating here. It feels very open air, and I feel like they've done the best job that they could with the front end of this. It does look a little wonky. The longer you look at it, the more you kind of like pick open things apart. But what you have to realize is, again, you're not talking about a normal kind of street car or a race car. This is a very futuristic. Think of it as like a prototype car, right? Something where you're not really getting a a true to life, like this is not your average sedan or anything like that. This is, well, first off, it's a V12 and it's a Lamborghini. So you already know that everything goes out the window. This was somebody's dream, right? Somebody's dream baby at Lamborghini. And they're like, what if we did? And they did. So, and then Lego's dream baby. However, in the front, you've got your little scoop that's down here in the front. You have some printing here. So we have these 1x2 angled slopes. And what I'm kind of curious of is they do the color, that olive green type color here, and it's printed on an azure color. And I'm really not sure, like, I understand why. It's just kind of weird. It's meant to be like the lights of it and everything, but because it's not printed the whole way across the surface, it kind of comes across really weird. But there's, unless they change their printing techniques, there's really no other way to go about this. Anyway, so you have the Lamborghini logo here on a 2x2 slope, which is nice, right there in the very front of the car. Some stickers that run over the tops of the wheel wells, and some nice curvature that goes on there. You have some printing for the canopy, the glass piece where your driver goes down inside. This is one of the most unique ways I've ever gotten a driver in there, because you open up the canopy piece. It looks like something out of a fighter jet or something like that. And then you pull upward on if you want to call it the hood of the car. It's not the hood of the car because the engine's in the back, but you pull up on like essentially the hood of the car to be able to get your driver in. You lay them back. It looks like they're getting ready to fly. It is a very incredibly raked car in the way that it is done in the front. Then moving behind that, we get into the engine bay and stuff like that. Really nothing to see. You get to peek a little bit down inside of the engine, but nothing that you're like, whoa. The very top part can come off, but there's really nothing to look at down inside of there. Some more stickering and stuff for some vents and all that kind of side stuff. On the side of the car, you notice some Technic bricking that is down in here. And the only issue is you see the end of the axle that is sticking through, and you see an open pinhole. I wish that was cleaned up a little bit, but not the end of the world right there. Some more sloping into the rear, to the rear arrow of the car, which is great, heading in towards the rear wing. Love this wing. It is absolutely gorgeous in the way that it is done. I think they did a phenomenal job absolutely capturing what is really on the car itself. I've looked at a lot of photos. I was like, I don't really know any other way that you could go about it with the pieces that you have, but my goodness, they did a phenomenal job there. So on the wing, on the rear end, you have some GT logoing for Gran Turismo. And then you have the lights that are here on the back of the wing. Believe it or not, you're actually putting a sticker on the side of a plate in that tiny little space. You bet your little booty you are. I was kind of like, no, I'm not. Are you serious? No way. There's no way in hell this is happening. But it happened. And then you get to your rear outlet in the back where you have your exhaust and all that kind of your double diffuser kind of feeling going on back here. So it looks super sharp. I'm really impressed with the way that is done. The car is wicked. It's wild. It's a different ride. It is not something that you would honestly expect, but it fits with the program. You know, it really does. Your minifig, you get your minifig person here. They got two faces and a helmet. They also come... do they come with an extra hairpiece? Where's my hairpiece at? I think it's hiding in here somewhere. Anyway, the suit looks great. I love the black printing, along with the olive color. I think that is incredible. It looks just sharp. And then you have the Lamborghini logo, but honestly, it almost kind of feels like you could take that kind of coloring, especially the printing on the back, and use it as almost like a military type, suit for minifigs or something like that. You know, you're creating whatever you're creating, but really cool stuff. So now we're going to move on to the next one here, which is the pair of Aston Martins. All right. So we have the Aston Martin Vantage safety car and AMR 23. 76925 is the set number. 564 pieces is what you are getting in the box. And it retails for $45 here in the US and €50. So we get another rendition of a Formula One car. it literally looks the same as the McLaren until you get to the back third of it. And we'll talk about that here in a moment. But we're going to start with your safety car. Really boxy, sharp build. One of my favorite things about the Aston Martin safety car is the very front, the air scoop into the front of the car. I've always loved it. It just looks aggressive. It reminds me kind of like BMW. BMW's safety cars are used for MotoGP, right? So seeing this, I mean, you're just getting some really wicked, cool, sharp looking cars. And I love it. I love the pretty much all green with just minimal black and stuff like that. It just screams excessively cool, really sharp. So the car as a whole, let's start with the front. The front hood, it says safety car, drive safely. And then it says Aramco has a safety car with the Aston Martin brand logo. That is a sticker. Both of those are stickers. The headlights are not stickers. Those are on slope pieces here, one on each side. But we have some venting from the hood. That is a sticker on each side of that. But like I said, the giant mouth opening, it almost feels like some kind of like a whale shark, right? Like this giant mouth is opening, scooping in all this air. Just screams feisty. Really love it. The front end of this build, it was a lot of fun. It was just different. What is shaking around? See, my hairpiece from my guy is shaking around in here. I knew there was something. Anyway, so yeah, the front clip of this is built separately, and then the way that it is attached, I mean, it's just studded on there, but you're building this thing, completely upside down than what you would traditionally build. The studs are facing the ground, so that is kind of cool. I'm a big fan of that. Again, little bitty details here and there and stuff, so that is kind of neat. You got black wheels, obviously, and then as we come down to the side, just before we get to where the driver is, okay, they use these dishes, these 2x2 round, kind of like satellite dishes, right, upside down here. It just adds another element to the texturing of the car, right, to what you would actually expect it to look like. It's just sharp. There's just something about it. So then we come down the sides. The sides are basically just built up side panels. We've seen this before in Speed Champions. It's not anything new, different so much. You get Aramco stickers on each side here yet again, and a sticker design down the side. On the inside, we've got our controls. We've got a steering wheel, obviously. We have another stickered piece here that says Aston Martin that is on the passenger side of this. And then down in the center console, we have where you would expect to see, well, they use a paddle shifter, so there's no gear shifter for this. But, all the little buttons, the sticker that has all these little buttons, different colored buttons to activate, lights and all kinds of different things, controls, whatever. So that is kind of cool. I like the way that is done. Just extra little detail. Then as we move again further towards the back, I totally forgot. We've got to talk about the windshield. Windshield is entirely printed. It has Aston Martin across the front. It's got the kind of tinted shading with some green printing along the sides as well. Aston Martin logo again, printed wording of the manufacturer, and then you have your amber lights that are on top of the safety car itself. But moving rearward, what we have, another logo that says Aston Martin, some more stickers that are on the side, and then we get towards that rear decking. Not anything really wild or anything, but it is a nice little way that it is attached in there. It's a fun little, it's different. We'll say that. It's just the way that it's clipped in. It's kind of different, and it's really fun. The rear wing of this, we have Aramco stickering on each side of the wing. This wing is, you just got to be careful with it. It's not I wouldn't call it flimsy at all, but what I would say is that if you're messing about with this, it's going to pop off from time to time. It's held on there by two studs connection, but it's just kind of funky the way that it's attached. Moving to my favorite part of the car, I love, aside from the mouth, the front of it and the back of it are definitely my favorite parts of this car. But you move to the rear end of it, and we've got a bunch of different trans red pieces in here. We've got some cheese wedge pieces. We've got some, what would be like the 1x1 plate that has like a nail like a claw sticking out from it. Those pieces. We've got a 1x2 in here. We've got a bunch of different ones to be able to get that lighting, that rear brake lighting. I absolutely love the way that it is done. We also get a printed piece here on a plate back here of the logo of the Aston Martin with the little wings. Another Aramco sticker, another one that says safety car just below that. And then we have our binoculars for the rear end, which are for your exhaust pipes. So strong, very strong car there. Big fan of it. The minifig for this guy, he's wearing a dark blue suit that has some printing on it that just says safety car, glasses for your driver, and a white helmet. Does come with an alternate hairpiece and a wrench. You know, I don't know too many safety car drivers that are so much worried about having a wrench or anything like that as they're driving around the track. It's more so stay up to speed so these Formula One cars can make sure they are staying behind me and keeping cool and keeping the engines and stuff like that cool. If you're not a Formula One fan, I know it can kind of be boring because of Max Verstappen, but you know, you're witnessing greatness, right? Anyway, moving on, we're going to get to the actual AMR 23. That is Aston Martin's car, their rendition of their car for last season. Same exact build as far as the main structure of it and everything like that as the one that we did with the McLaren earlier in the year. So it's a similar build. Well, it's the same build, I should say, until, like I said, you get to the very back end of the car where the rear decking and the wing are just a little bit different because, you know, every team, every manufacturer is doing things just a little bit differently, as you would expect. So let's go ahead and start in the front of this puppy. In the very front, we've got this big old nose. If you've built the McLaren already, you kind of know the nose, the way that it's attached. It's got some flex to it, so don't be alarmed. If you are building this for the first time, do not be alarmed. In the front, we've got all the stickers. I'm not going to go over every single sticker in this, but there are definitely a lot that are in there. But your nose cone is printed, which is great. You don't have to worry about that at all. That's always a good thing. And then it says 110 with the Aston Martin logo with that little tile on the front. That is printed as well. Got some side stickering and stuff like that. The nose is fine. The wing is fine. Moving towards the rear, the tires are exactly the same. They are the yellow branded tires, so we're not getting a different color. That would have been neat. You know, give me some reds, give me some, you know, I don't really want any, well, I guess we just want slicks. So anyway, so that is nice to be able to have. As we move towards the driver here, you get to where your roll bar is. Again, that lifts up, allows you to get your driver in and out. Got the video game controller steering wheel piece that is in here with all the printing and everything like that. We've got spoons, believe it or not, again, right? For your mirrors so that they can look back. I think that is probably the perfect piece on this car to show exactly what is needed right there. And we'll talk about the driver here in a moment. Now, this, as you get behind the front wheels, this is where things start to change. And like I said, they don't change drastically, but every team has a different aero kit to their car, right? Everybody's car is a little bit different. You have to meet the regulation standards set by the FIA, but everybody does things just a little bit differently. And that's what is done here. So just behind, or I shouldn't say just behind, just below the driver, that is where you see the difference between this and the McLaren. And it's just ever so noticeable. You've got some stickers here for like their logos, like Cognizant, Citibank, but down just below that Cognizant sticker, that is where we're seeing that ever bit of change. McLaren's is more of a sweeping. This isn't so much of a sweeping part in there. It is, but you can definitely feel the airflow difference as far as the change in the way that it looks. I like that. It's just a minor detail. Absolutely minor detail. It's a difference of what? Maybe 3 pieces, 2 pieces, and that's it. But it's another detail that just changes ever so slightly, adds a different feeling and desire for a fan. And, you know, somebody that's got a keen eye is going to be like, well, they're not the same. They can't be the same. And they're not. That's why they have to make them different. Somebody is going to notice and somebody's going to say, we told you and you didn't listen to us. Always happens that way. Anyway, so moving just behind, we've got the T-bar up here for the television camera and all that kind of goodness. Just behind that, this is where we see a change as well. On the McLaren, just in front of their wing, it is very flat. On this one, it is curved slightly upward with the use of some curved slope tiles here. So that is nice. Just again, every little difference matters. So it has to be achieved. It has to be created in this. Now, when we get to the wing, all right, the wing as a whole is pretty much, they're not the same. Let me preface it by saying that this wing is narrower than the McLaren. They use similar pieces, but it is not the same. The McLaren wing is probably, what would we say? 7.5 studs wide. This is more like 6.5. All right. There is a noticeable difference with it, not just as in parts usage, but it is a noticeable difference in size in general. The McLaren wing is much beefier than what this one is. It's incredible. But the wing build on this is really, it's a fun little mini section of the build, because you just, I don't want to say you always expect something different, but like I had mentioned, the design team is always trying to give you something different. They're trying to hit that, okay, the build experience. People don't just buy these. Yes, you love Formula One. You want the Formula One car, but it's just, you want the experience as well. So the other thing that is noticeable back here in the very end is the rain light. The rain light in this puppy is not a tile. It is a 1x1 trans red piece, but it is, it's actually facing inward. There's no stud on the outside. The stud is on the inside. So that's kind of cool. Then your driver, we've got I don't know who this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a female driver. There comes a hairpiece as well, but the all green body, and then the race suit has some printing with Cognizant or Aramco, their logo. The helmet is all black with their winged logo, feathered logo, whatever you want to call it, on it. I'm sure somebody will correct me. So there is that. Really, really cool car to be able to go along with just everything in general. So the last of the three that we're going to talk about is I loved the safety car. I thought the safety car was rad. I thought it was different. I thought it was fun. I have never had so much fun building a Speed Champion set than building this one right here. The pair of Mercedes that I've got right here in front of me. And what I'm referring to is the Mercedes AMG G63 and the Mercedes AMG SL63. The set number 76924 has 808 pieces, so increasingly more, but it's the same price. It's the same price as the last one. $45 here in the US, 50 euros respectively. Alrighty guys, before we move on, we've got to take a quick ad break. We'll be back in a moment. Let's go ahead and get back into the action. Let's kick off with some Mercedes love. So let's go ahead and start with the Mercedes AMG SL63. This car is beautiful. Man, oh God, the yellow. I don't know who made this design decision to do an all yellow car, but thank you. I love you so much. I love how much yellow is in here. It's just, everything works perfect as far as the color scheme goes with this, because you just have a little bit of black around the bottom, and that's about it. So one of the most interesting things, I kind of think, is in the front. We've got some printed things that are in here. We also have stickers as well, but we actually have a decent number of prints on this model in comparison to some of the others, which is always a positive, a plus. Really cool. So in the front, we have our Mercedes logo on a 1x1 round tile. That is a print. Then we have some studs. We have stacked studs, 1x1 rounds that are facing outward in the way that they're attached. And it's just, again, simple little stupid things, but man, it's so stinking awesome, because that attaches to a side assembly, which attaches to another assembly, which then clips into place into the front. And then you have this beautiful grille. It's so freaking beautiful. Down below that, we have some printing of a little bit of black area for where the grille is. On the sides, yet again, more headlights that are prints. We have the logo on the very front of the car, on the hood of the car, and that is a sticker, unfortunately. But what is cool is That hood is hinged. You can open it and you can get inside and you can take a peek and look. And there is there's another tile in here. It is a sticker. It is not a print that has some stuff that is on it for under the hood. Now, the entire front hood of this thing, it's kind of flat across the top. Maybe a little bit of slight undulation would have been a little bit better. I'm not saying that they intentionally made this flat. There's really not much you can do, right? When you're looking at the scale of this, it's pretty darn good. The wheels look nice on this. They got their kind of that Mercedes feel to it with the rims, so that's nice. Moving back, we've got this nice windscreen that you have. No roof on this, we're out there letting our hair fly in the wind. Nice short rounded windscreen here. No doors that open or close, which now that I think about it, I don't think it's really a thing on Speed Champions now that I bring it up. I don't think we have opening and closing doors on anything, to be honest. So down inside of here, what do we have? Well, we have room for two, which is always nice. We have our steering wheel with our guy. We've got our little console here that's you can music, your home button, the power, all the little things and stuff like that. That is a tile. It's a 1x1 square. Our minifig guy, he's just an average Joe, right? He's a Mercedes lover, and he's enjoying a nice day, driving his car around, doing the thing, right? His minifig torso, he has white legs, no printing on it, but he has a gray top, kind of like a gunmetal gray top here, and AMG printing on the back and just some striping that is on the front. He has sunglasses for a face, which is, I like that. It's pretty cool. Comes with a wrench as well. There is room in the back for a third person or some cargo, but you can most definitely get a third minifig back in there. The chairs of this are really nice. They actually lean forward, so in case you want to put something back there, you need to actually pretend like you're getting a minifig back there. It's kind of cool. I do like that. Or, like I say, you just kind of use it as a little cargo area. Now we get back to the very back end of this dealio, and this is where all the really cool little details kind of kick in. A gorgeously rounded back end. It says AMG SL63 with the taillights there, and it is printed. Okay, we got some nice rounded slope pieces back here. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. It's just clean. It feels clean all around. Some interesting parts usage in the way that things are assembled back here for the exhaust system and the rear diffuser, that kind of stuff. So some interesting ideas that are back here. It's got four exhaust pipes, which, I mean, that doesn't really matter or mean anything. I'm just saying it is four. So I love this car. I love everything about this car. I love the color of it. I love the design of it. The build on some of the stuff on the inside of it, I'm just in heaven with. And one of the other things that I noticed really early on, well, I shouldn't say maybe so much early on, but you really start to notice as you build this, how much weight there is to the car. And then when you have the final product, you're like, this feels a little bit heavier, than a normal Speed Champions car. And it is. I mean, you look at the part count alone, 808 pieces. Now, granted, we have this other car that we've got to talk about, but nevertheless, don't let it take back from the fact that, we've got two beautifully well done cars, and that one is a beast of its own. But now we've got to get to the real beast, the Mercedes AMG G63. I love this sport utility vehicle, if that's what you want to fall under. I love this thing. I love how big it is. I don't recall seeing anything this size in Speed Champions, if ever. It's huge, and it just screams I want to go off-road. It screams security. It screams ego. It screams just flat out awesome. German evolution. How about that one? It's a tank though, man. This thing is huge. And, it feels like when you first kind of look at it, it looks like to me, it was like a cross of a Humvee, a Hummer, but it's not. It's not at all. But it just kind of gives that feel to a certain degree. And you're like, you know what? It almost kind of looks like a Humvee. Like it's almost built like it's meant to be like that, which is just absolutely crazy. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about our minifig first. Get her out of the way because she's falling out here. Sunglasses for her as well. Short hairdo. And she's got the black legs, no printing on it. And then on her shirt, she has a white shirt with some printing on it. with the AMG logo and stuff like that on there. There's something that's written on here. I can't really read it, make it out that well. Anyway, let's get to the actual vehicle, man, because this thing is rad. So, like I said, all black. This entire thing is black. You do have a little sliver of gunmetal gray, though, along where the doors are. Would be, I should say, where the doors would be. We just had this conversation. Anyway, let's get to the front of this thing and this giant tank that we've got. Really cool looking bumper and the way that it is built out. Very rigid, very robust. That's probably the best word to describe it. Very robust. Lots of pieces used, but very robust. We have the logo here, but for the grill that is in the center, kind of like what we saw with the last one that we just talked about. Instead of having 1x1 rounds stacked, it's almost like a smaller version of the satellite dishes that have studs on the top and the anti-stud on the bottom. And you have 3 of those. You stack them up and they are horizontal to the logo. And then again, like I said, all these little details that attach, and that's actually quite simple in how that one attaches, but nevertheless fantastic. Our lights on the front of this thing, they are prints. That is nice on a little 2x2 slope. That is phenomenal. The hood opens up. On the hood, we do have a sticker. It's ever so slight, and it's just got the logo right on the front corner right there. But down inside, we have the same the same sticker that we saw on the other Mercedes, the car down in there. The engine looks a little bit nicer than the other one. I do like it. There's not a whole lot of detail here, but it just feels like there was more detail. Maybe it feels more finished than the other one. So I do like that. Close the hood back up. Got some nice sloped edges here for the side of the hood. The wheel wells look gorgeous in the way that those are built. And believe it or not, if I'm not mistaken, I think those were like jumper plates. I believe they were jumper plates that were used there. So really cool way to have that done. Then as we move a little bit further back, we've got some more printing here. Just below the side of the windshield, I guess you could say, we have the AMG where it is printed right there. We have windshield wipers for this bad boy as well. The windscreen is huge. It's also built up on the windscreen. It's not just a windshield that you're putting on there. You're actually putting other pieces that are on here as well. And that helps with retaining the roof when we get to that part. The mirrors look nice on it. Feel very much like a, big, robust SUV. Mercedes SUV. Down on the inside, we have a steering wheel. We don't have one of those do it all in one steering wheels. We actually have a separate steering wheel on its own. So that is kind of cool. The opportunity to put 4 minifigs in here is huge. All the seats are white. A little bit of a kind of a white console idea going on here. We've got a sticker as well for our console. I believe it's showing our engine train, that kind of stuff. And then as we move further back, what do we have? We've got a bunch of cargo area. You got to go somewhere, right? I mean, you're going on vacation, you're going hiking, you're going camping, you got to get your stuff in there. I don't know who would take one of these things camping, but I guess people do that. So you've got room down in there to be able to do that. There is no rear hatch or anything like that you can pull off to be able to get access to it. You have to pull the roof off separately to actually be able to get down to the inside of it, which, I mean, that's fine. Some people, I think, might have an issue with that. I don't really find an issue with it. But on the exterior, moving towards the rear, since we just did the interior, the side of this, lots of different pieces that are used here. We got some studs on the side. We got some stacking going on. Believe it or not, we actually use roller skates for what are supposed to be the door handles where there are no doors. But that is kind of cool. I like the way that is done. I think that is phenomenal. The rear windows, there's 2 on each side. They are laid horizontally, and the way that they are attached is very, very bonkers bizarre in the way that they are clipped into place. Some really interesting choices of parts there. Definitely some flex that comes into play in there. So that was a little bit weird to get used to after building it. Just kind of felt off, like I didn't have it on correctly, but it's just the way that it is built. You have 2 pairs of, I was going to say smokestacks. Of exhausts that are coming out the side just behind the driver compartment, if you will, the driver's seat. So there is that. On the very back end of this thing, We have another windshield. It's a little bit smaller, but it is not fully closed off. Like this thing is not fully encapsulated. So that was a little bit weird to get used to, but that's okay. On the rear end, we have what is supposed to be like your spare tire that is hanging on the back with the Mercedes logo in there. That is a sticker. It is not a print on the 2x2 round, which sucks. I was hoping it'd be a print. It is not. We have some more stickers for the taillights, the license plate that just says AMG. We have another sticker here on the side of the tire, the rear spare tire that says AMG. And then on the opposite side of that, it says the G63, the G-Wagon. Alrighty. So let's get to the roof. The roof of this thing is pretty simple in the way that it is built, but it's actually made up of quite a few pieces. Now, the interesting thing that they chose to do here is they kind of give you like a track. You almost have like a brick-built track in the way that the roof works, so that all you're doing is you're just dropping it in the front and the sides, and it just falls in seamlessly. And it looks nice. It just looks sharp. I love it. I think it's cool looking. And it's really easy to take off. By the way, there are no studs that are holding this on, so you don't have to worry about any studs being a pest or in your way or anything of the sort. You just you do the thing. So there is that. There's your Mercedes. They are sharp. This one is incredibly cool. So far this year, man, the BMWs were sharp. The BMW, the GT3 car, the hypercar, that was cool. These, I mean, we've got the safety car, the AMR safety car. The Lamborghini is cool. We got the Aston Martin Formula One car. That is cool. I'm sorry, but my hat goes off to this one, the Mercedes pairing here. Okay, and here's why. You have 800 pieces, and granted, you are doing a lot more micro-ish building in here, small segment building in this, especially the big one here. The G63, especially that. But how cool is it to get something that large in this scale, in the new version of Speed Champions scale? Another sports car. Again, I keep bringing up this thing when we talk about city. Things that you can put into your Lego city from the city theme. But how about the Speed Champions? Now, granted, some of these are, maybe a little bit wide and you're like, I don't think so, sir. And that's fine. But I guarantee you there are going to be some people that are like, oh, ready-made, tailored, done. Not a whole lot of stickers on either. Huge fans. But that's what happens when you don't have a racing vehicle. You don't have to have all this sponsorship and all that kind of stuff. Now, the Lamborghini has a lot of stickers, but that's trying to get its curves and all its individual components and stuff like that you can't actually model in Lego. You send it to the design team, the graphic design team. You say, hey guys, look, we are having some trouble here. We need you to get these fins without it being like a real fin or this grill area. We need you to kind of model that as best as you can. And they do it. They always do it. Sometimes it turns out good. Sometimes it could go back to the drawing table. But I will say this Mercedes pairing of the G63 and the SL63, by far my top favorite Speed Champions for 2024. I mean, we can always go back and say, well, what about last year? What about the year before? I'm sure there are others that are going to come close to it, without a doubt. But this pairing takes the cake. And I cannot stress this enough. The value that you are getting with these two vehicles at $45 here in the US and for 50 euros. That's wild. That is wild, crazy cheap, man. Like if you really were to stop and think about it, like, well, what is that, per part, right? Per piece of plastic that you're using. It's 5.5 cents, 6 cents. That's it. Those margins are crazy. And Speed Champions does a really good job of that. And even if you have this large body, right? The all-in-one encompassing piece that they use with Speed Champions these days, the unibody underneath, still, it's one big chunky piece of plastic. But I have this big, giant, chunky, both of them. I told you, the SL63, the weight of it, the car, the weight of it, you can feel it. It's not light. You're not being shorted. When I grabbed the Lamborghini, I'm like, oh, okay. When I grabbed the SL63, I'm like, oh, wait, let me go do some, curls before this. Holy crap. But it's worth its weight in gold, in my opinion, this pairing. Lego, I'm saying this right now. You nailed it out of the park with those two, with that pairing. I like the others. The others are fine. Lamborghini is probably my least favorite at this point. This is something you would see on like a Car and Driver magazine. I don't even know if they have those, I was in high school looking through those, dreaming of a $4 million Lamborghini. I don't think so. So I'm gonna grade the Wave here. How about we do that? The Wave as a whole, I think we get an 8.5, maybe at very, very most. I think their Lamborghini brings it down a little bit. It's a cool car. It's different. It's futuristic. Like I said, it's one of those kind of prototype things, you know. There's not a whole lot of those driving around on the road. Getting a Formula One car is really nice. Safety car is cool to get. I hope we continue to see more Formula One cars as we go on. Love to see an RB, you know, most definitely. But I think the thing that is holding this Wave up for me is definitely the pair of Mercedes, without a doubt. I mean, I've already sat here and spilled my love for them. Just gorgeous. So 8.5 as a whole. I would say the Mercedes, though, if you're going to grade it by a set, I would say 9.5, easy, just because of everything: value, build, design, different, and that's what you want. And you want the most for your money. You work hard for your money. You want it to go far. And in this world's economy, you always want it to go further than what it does. So why not have an opportunity to get more back from it? So I hope you guys enjoyed the Speed Champions. I did. I had fun. I encourage you to go check them out. And Speed Champions is one of those things. The price is always worth the value. So we got some more goodies coming up. We're still working on some Ninjago things for you guys. Dreams is coming your way. The embargo got moved up, and those things have been steadily being built. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I may have something that arrived in the mail from a shipper over the last week that may rival for one of the top 3 best sets of the year. And it's going to completely catch you off guard. But I promise you, it is going to be something that is going to make you look really, really hard. And you might be thinking, I'm gonna overlook that. Don't be so fast, my friend. Don't be so sure. So I'll leave you with that. That will be coming soon, and a few other things. So until we meet again, I'm your Minifig host, Matt. Let's build on it.